Sapporo, Japan. I'm your host, Chris, and I'm joined by my co-host, Topher the panda, is what he said. So we're going to be exploring Sapporo today, which is the capital of the northern island of Hokkaido, and Topher, he's got something he wants to say too. Which is what's written on his headband, which means... And we'll start our tour of Sapporo in front of this building, which is not very Japanese looking, but was actually the original seat of the state of Hokkaido government, and this used to be the governor's office. It was built in the American Baroque style, in case you're wondering. Another interesting part about the old Hokkaido government building is that the courtyard has approximately 1,000 trees in 100 different varieties that bloom at different times in the year. And there's even a map right here that'll tell you which season you should come in to see them bloom. Continuing on the theme of non-Japanese architecture is the Tokedai Clock Tower. It was originally built in 1878 for the Sapporo Agricultural College in the American frontier style, and the clock was installed in 1881, built in the USA, and has been telling time ever since. 4:20 by my watch. Looks pretty good. The clock tower is such a popular tourist spot, there's even a platform to take pictures on in front of the clock tower, with just that perfect angle. Running 12 blocks through central Sapporo is Odori Park, a big grassy strip on this street that has the television tower with the viewing platform all the way at the end. In the summer, this is a cool place to chill and hang out and enjoy the sun, and in the winter, this is where Winter Festival is held, with large, snowy sculptures. For some of the best views of Sapporo, you can come up to the top of the TV tower up here. 700 yen, you get a ticket that you can buy from a vending machine. What a better way to buy them, and see the splendid view of the city. And it's truly a bird's eye view. This is a great place to start your trip by really getting your bearings on the layout of Sapporo. And from up here, I could see that Sapporo is home to my favorite Japanese department store, Tokyu Hands, a store full of cool Japanese gadgets. It's also cool to swing by the TV tower at night to see the nighttime lights. If you're walking around the streets of Sapporo and you don't see any people and you think it's pretty peaceful, you're right, the streets are, because everybody is one level down in the basement level shopping centers. There are miles and miles of these underground shopping centers across Sapporo. It's quite amazing. If you're tired of all the underground shopping and want something above ground, stop by the Tanuki Koji Shopping Arcade, which is a pedestrianized street that has a lot of character and some cool places to have dinner too. Wondering what a tanuki is? This is a tanuki, which is kind of a raccoon, I think. Judging by the number of people here, this is definitely a popular place to hang out. And the neat thing about this outdoor street is it's covered on the top, so there will be no rain on you on those rainy days. Most people from outside Japan know Sapporo because of the beer of the same name. And in Sapporo is the Sapporo Beer Museum, where you can learn all about the history of Sapporo beer in Japanese. It's 2 floors, it's small, but the best part of it is admission is free. So after touring the 2 floors of the museum, you're likely to be thirsty. And the good news is on the first floor, there's the tasting hall where you can have some beer. Topher, are you thirsty? So for 500 yen, you can get 3 different types of beer. You can get the most popular beer, the Black Label, the Classic, which is served only in Hokkaido, and then the Kaitakushi beer, which is brewed the same way as it's been since the Meiji period. Drink up and enjoy. And the neatest thing about tasting the beer here is you buy a ticket to taste the beer from a vending machine and then present it to the bartender to be served. For another Sapporo beer-related attraction, there's the Sapporo Factory Mall that is the site of a former Sapporo brewery that has been turned into a mall. Most of it is rather plain mall-looking, but what's in the old brewery building is a handicraft section that has kind of some neat stores. The rest of it, though, you've probably seen in the many miles of underground passageways in Sapporo. If you want to enjoy beer the way the locals do, and you're lucky enough to be in Sapporo in the summer, you can stop by one of Sapporo's famous beer gardens. Each of Japan's major brewers sets up a beer garden in Odori Park, where massive quantities of beer are consumed. This is like the Japanese version of Oktoberfest. Sapporo has a couple big fish markets. This one's one of the best. What's it called again, Topher?
Jungei Ichiba.
And the things they have here, particularly famous in Hokkaido, are crabs. And I've never seen crab as big as the ones they have here. 2-kilogram king crabs, over $120. And if you're extra crazy about crab, you can buy a crab postcard that you can mail back to your friends and family as a souvenir of your journey to Sapporo. After you've seen all the shops in the fish market, you can stop by the big restaurant here and have a nice bowl of seafood with the Hokkaido specialty uni, also known as sea urchin, which has a very unique flavor. So one of their other specialties here is the sweet shrimp, and they very nicely provide you instructions on how to eat the sweet shrimp. So you pick up the shrimp with your chopsticks, pull the shrimp out of the head, and then there's some other instructions for eating the head and dipping it in the soy sauce. I'll leave that as something for you to try when you come to Sapporo. So I've reached the end of the bowl. The shrimps have all been deheaded. And now that's all left to eat are the salmon eggs. And trying to pick these things up is like picking up marbles with chopsticks. And I have to say, I'm pretty proud of myself that I can pick these up. Now, if you're not in the mood for sushi, the good news is that Sapporo is also famous for its ramen noodles. If you've got a hankering for some good ramen, you're in luck because Sapporo is home to the famous Ramen Alley. So down this narrow alley is Ramen Alley. It's barely as wide as about 3 people across. There's about 20 ramen restaurants. Each restaurant maybe only seats 10 or 15 people, but you know it's good when there's a line out the door. And this store even has instructions on how to line up outside and turn the corner. Most of the stores are pretty small, just like this one with about 10 seats at a bar. And there is also the new Ramen Alley, which is more of a passageway through a building, but it also has a lot of ramen restaurants. But my favorite food that I had in Sapporo was Mongolian barbecue. At the best Mongolian barbecue restaurants, they will have a charcoal grill upon which they will place a bunch of onions and then a big piece of fat, and then you order lamb by the plate. And then it's up to you to cook it on the grill in front of you. This was most delicious. Eventually, you'll have to leave Sapporo, and if you're flying out of Sapporo's airport, allow yourself at least a couple of hours to explore, because Sapporo Airport is truly one of the neatest airports I've ever seen, and I've been to a lot of airports. In the Sapporo Airport, they have their own Ramen Alley, with 10 ramen restaurants from around Hokkaido. There is also a in-airport chocolate factory known as Roy's Chocolate World, where they have machines that make the chocolate in the airport. Of course, no airport would be complete without a Hello Kitty Japan store. There is a stand-up sushi restaurant where you order sushi from a touchscreen. There's a neat food court that looks like some sort of futuristic forest. And finally, this is the only airport that I've ever been to that you can buy crab dead or alive. I wonder how the TSA would feel about that live crab in my suitcase. I would love to see the face of the X-ray technician realizing that I have a live crab in my suitcase.